Okay. So today we will continue our lecture on SQL, but we will try to execute SQL commands from inside Python program. So for that, I actually created a database on the internet. If you search for like free Postgres SQL database, you will have like some results on the Google. I found this Elephant SQL. You just log in the website. You don't have to pay anything, and you can create database on their servers. You don't have to if you don't want to install Postgres on your server on your local computer. It's also useful. Let's say you have an application and you have built it and you want to publish it. Your database won't be on your computer, but your database will be on the internet. So this is also another way to do it. Like you buy some database server on the cloud, I don't know, in the internet, and after some time you will have to pay because it's not. They give you limited resources with free plan. That there are a lot of such database like providers. So I created my database on Elephant SQL. So instead of connecting my local database server, I will connect to their database server, which is on the internet. But let's put it aside for now. We are going to build a very simple application. We will implement registration and login logic using Python and SQL. Actually, for this, we only need users table. We will only need two tables, okay, users and to-dos. Let's see what we are going to do. But let's say this is an arbitrary application on the internet, and you want to log into this application. Whenever you log in, what you do is there's an HTML page in front of you. You type some username and password, then you click enter. Then your username and password is sent to the server using HTTP protocol. Let's say, this is a request. So how can I put text here? Okay, this is let's say post request. I send my post request to /login URL, and I don't know, I sent some headers like host, I don't know, server.com, I don't know, to do app.com, let's say, and I sent some data like username equals to Orhan, and password equals to which user. Okay, let's say this is our HTTP request that we are sending. Text alignment. Okay, this is our HTTP request that we sent to the server. What server will do with this information? Server will get my username and my password. Will send a query, like SQL query, to our database. Like, let's say, select everything, like let's say select password from users table where username is what? Username is Orhan. Because I need to first verify that if I have a user which called Orhan. Okay. So the client sends HTTP post request for /login pass with username and password. And whenever our backend application here, let's say this is a Python application, will receive this request, it will send this query, select password from users table where the username is Orhan. And if we have this data, like if we have this user in our database, and let's say this query return the result, let's say we have one user, and then our backend, what will it do? Just one thing to say about HTTP, that HTTP is stateless protocol, which means that there is no memory between first HTTP request and second HTTP request. Let's say I am server. When you send me some request, okay, I said someone sent me a request and I process this request. When you send me the second request, I just forget everything about you. Maybe I know your IP address, okay, but I don't know if you're still the same user. Okay, I don't know if this is the Murat who was logged into my system, or I don't know, Kamran or some Maksud. Canan. Kamran Çimidan. Okay. Canan, Rasul, Maksud. Okay. Okay, so I need to I need a way to remember that person. Let's say you are entering to a building. When you enter to the building, they give you some badge, let's say, and whenever you enter the same building again, you just use this badge and to enter the building again. No one asks you who you are. No one asks you for your username or password or anything. Actually, this login system, like in any application, works the same way. Whenever we whenever someone logs into our system, we give them some kind of badge. This badge is called a token. Okay, we call this badge. Sorry, yeah, we call this badge a token. Okay, so sometimes we call it access token. Let's call it access token. So as just like when like security guy gives you your badge, you have to keep it with yourself and you have to keep it secure. Well, let's say you are fired from the work. They I don't know, they ban your access and they take away your badge, and you're no longer welcome to the building. Okay, this is same with access token. Whenever some user logs into my system, I verify that this user is inside my database. Then what I do, I give them an access token. Access token is just a string, like random, very random string. Let's call it. Let's get some access token, random access token. Here. Let's say this is my access token. Click to copy. This is my access token. This is a little bit long, but yeah. Let's cut it. Yeah, this is my access token that server gave me, and I have to remember it. I have to keep it secure. I'm not supposed to share it with anyone else. So server gave me an access token. Let's shorten it a little bit. Okay, server gave me an access token. I remember this token. Next time, whenever I send another request to the server, I have to send this token along with this request. Let's say I want to get like a list of my tasks, let's say, okay. How to drag this? Okay, let's say I want to send an HTTP request to get my tasks. Let's say I have like list of to-dos. I sent an HTTP request. This time, let's say I send HTTP GET request to my to-dos API. I don't need to send my username and password again. Instead, I send like a header, which is called authorization. This is my header, and I will put this token as value of my authorization token. I send this request. I put this token as value of my authorization request, and server actually as a first thing before actually processing my request, server will look at my authorization header, will look at this token, and we'll see if this authorization token is in the database. Like, has it ever given this token to someone? And as you might guess, this token needs to be related to this user. And this token needs to have some expiration time. Like whenever you log into system, you're not logged in there forever. Maybe for, let's say for Gmail, you never log into Gmail again, because actually they automatically refresh your token in the background. But for another systems, like let's say some banking application, actually for security reasons, they log you out like very often. So this token should have some expiration time, and this token needs to be related to this user. Like whenever this our backend will receive this request, we'll analyze this token to see if this belongs to someone, and then we'll fetch his tasks, like this user's tasks, and then we'll send an HTTP response that here are your tasks, and see the list of your tasks. Like, is this clear, like how in general login system should work? Actually, registration, let's say this user wants to, like, this user doesn't have an account in our system. Registration is very easy. He just sends a lot of data to us, and then we get his data and we execute an insert query, like insert into users. This is his username, this is his I don't know, password, etc. So this is how a login system should work. For this, let's create some tables here. Like I will create some SQL file here. Let's call it database.sql. I will not execute these queries. I will just write them. Let's say how many tables we need to have. First, let's say to implement a login system, we need a what? Users table. So I will create a users table. Create table if not exists, of course, users. This user will have some ID. Let's we'll have some full name. We'll have some, let's say, username. I will write this data types later. Then it will have what, I don't know, password created at, and then updated at. Let's say these are the attributes, these are the columns of our users table. Okay. For IDs, I need to, last time, if you remember, we entered IDs manually, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to automatically generate IDs this time. Actually, PostgreSQL allows you to generate IDs automatically. There are two ways. If you have in ID as integer, you can tell Postgres increment those integers each time. For example, first user will have ID 1, the second user will have ID 2, third user will have ID 3. You will not have to enter it automatically. Actually, let's see how to do that. Postgres auto increment primary key. Okay, this is just called serial. Serial just means that it auto increment this integer each time. So full name, we will have varchar. Full name, we will have, let's say, 100 characters of full name. And then it will not be null value. Username also will be varchar. Let's say it's up to 30 characters, not null, and unique. Usernames should be unique. And password will be like, let's say, it can be very long. It should not be null. Created that will be a time stamp. It means just current time. So the default value will be now. It means whenever we create this value, its value will be this exact time that this user has been created. Time stamp, and it will be, it's nullable. Updated that will be null at first. Default null. So it will be null at first, then we will update it if user updates their information. Then whenever the user logs in, we need we give them some kind of token. we give them some kind of token. So we need a table. We need to create a new table to store that tokens, because we will generate a token. We will generate a long string, and we need to store them into database. That next time, whenever someone gives us that this is my token, check it if this is valid or not. We will be able to check that. So I will create another table. Create table if not exists. We will let's call this table user sessions. Session, it means just like, how to say, just session, like lifetime of a user logged into our system and logged out to our system, like this whole lifetime. We call it session. This will also be serial. This will also be primary key, and then we will have a access token. Access token might be a very long string. Let's call it 255. Postgres varchar max. Let's go varchar max. Okay. Actually, we can skip this, meaning that it can be very long if we want it. We need also user ID. Like one user might have a lot of tokens. It means, for example, we gave them a token when the user logged out from the system. This token has expired, so we don't use this token again. Next time we will give them a new token. So that's why like one user might have several tokens. It will be one-to-many relationship. One user will have a lot of sessions. So user ID will be an integer. It will be not null, and we will have I forgot how to write Postgres foreign key. Foreign key. So foreign key is user ID. It references users table ID column. We'll have a date time which will be expires at, let's call it expires at, when this token expires. Let's call it timestamp. It will be timestamp, and it will be not null. It needs to be filled. I think this is enough, I believe. So we have users table, and then we have user sessions table. Whenever user logs in, we will check their username and password from this table. We will generate a new token, and we will store that token inside this access token field, and we will set a time at which like this token will expire. Let's say I give you the token right now. I will set expiration time like 5 hours later. And each time, whenever you make a request, I will check, is this token expired or not? If this expired, I will return you an error that your token has been expired. Please log in again. Okay, so this will be our tables. Let's see how we can use a Python file to connect to a database and then execute some queries using Python. For this, we will use a library which is called psychopg. Psychopg. This is called like this, psychopg. And this is, as you might guess, this is from pypy.org. This is a library which someone else created. I can install just like Flask. I can install it and I can run it. So PostgreSQL database adapter for Python. Let's see their documentation. Quick install. If you want to install this, you need psychopg2. Where is this? I think I've already installed. Okay, I think this should be enough. Like installing. pip install psychopg. I've already installed. I will just click. It says that a new release of pip requirement is already satisfied. It means that I already have psychopg installed. So I can import it like this. Import psychopg. Then I can do some stuff with this psychopg. Let's actually create a new file here. We'll call it database.py. And I will import my psychopg here. And because in main PG, I will create my API. Inside this database, I will create my database connection. Then.
Nice question.
Yes.
Do we need a stack builder in order to set up PostgreSQL or not?
I don't think so. Okay, passing parameter, quick prerequisite, running test suite if you still have problems, connection class, basic model usage. Okay, let's see basic model usage. Okay, but whenever I want to connect to some database, I will call psychopg.connect. Okay, this is my connection. It will be psychopg.connect. And I will have to pass some parameters here, like where my database is connected. Like let's call db. So this should be port. Let's see what parameters does it have. Connect. Okay. This should be connection string, but there should be another way to connect as well. Let's see connection class. Where is connection? Connection, yes, connection. Connect. Post. There isn't there now. Okay, let's see psychopg Python. Yeah, I was looking for this. Okay, so database, I need to add my database name, database user, database password, and database host and port number. Okay, so I will write here database. Database is, I created my database on this server. So database server will be located at this URL. Like if you are running your database on your local, you will need to have like right here localhost, like whatever the host name of your database. So this is my database. And then what do I have here? I have user and password. And I have user, password, then host and port. Host and port. Actually, host should be this one. Port will be 5432. Like this is the default port number for PostgreSQL. They never change it really. Like most of the times, the Postgres port number will be 5432. So my password here. Where is my password? Yeah, this is my password here. I can view it. I can copy it. This is my password. Then this is my user and default database. User and database name. They gave me some random name. And then I need a cursor. I think let's call it cursor connection. Cursor, yes. Then I can use this cursor to execute some queries, like execute. I can call execute method, and I can give this some SQL queries. Okay. Let's say I will copy my queries from here, and I will paste it here, like create this table, create this table and create this table. Okay. Now I can actually run this Python file. Okay, Python 3 run database.py. If I run this, there is some error in my SQL query. User ID, what happened here? Let's see.
If you integrate PostgreSQL in Visual Studio,
No,
so Postgre app itself,
no, I haven't integrated anything into PostgreSQL. No, I mean, I haven't integrated anything inside this Visual Studio Code. Why did you ask?
this background looks like a Visual Studio. Yes.
If you mean why this code is highlighted, if you create a file with SQL extension, Visual Studio Code will understand that this is SQL code. It will highlight it, the code.
What app is this right now?
What?
This app.
What we are writing?
Oh, yeah.
We are just trying to implement a login system, login, logout, registration. So I have some, okay, let us Postgres foreign key. I have some syntax error inside my SQL query. Like, what was the problem here? Primary key is this, foreign key customer ID, like foreign key user ID, like this user ID should be foreign key, like ID from this user. Let me look at the other SQL query. Foreign key user, okay, I think I need this parenthesis. Okay. Not here, actually here. Okay, it worked. My Python script connected to the database and executed this code inside my database. So I can go to my dashboard here at Elephant SQL. I don't know how, but let's see at this browser. I really don't know how this works. Let's see if we have some tables. Next, let's write select everything from users. Execute this. Users table does not exist for some reason. Why? No tables? Are you kidding? Stats, slow queries, backup, details. I should have some tables here because it is created tables.
Postgre'nin Windows'ta installer'dan başka hiçbir işlemi
Yok bence. Azal install var.
Ben de
Yüklenmemişse
başka bir SQL programı var.
Postgre'den başka free MySQL axtara bilərsən. MySQL bunu axtarı yüklə. Məncə bunun yükləməsi daha asan olur. Bir dənə yoxlaşdırırsın. Burada niyə şey yoxdur? Let's open pgadmin, maybe connect with pgadmin to this database. Details. We open pgadmin. We have this Elephant SQL. What's password? The password is this. Okay. We have connected to our Elephant SQL. Our database name is اختيام.
Ömer customer download menü.
MySQL'i Enterprise Cluster bence bu Enterprise yok. Bence bu da Customer Download. Bir de MySQL Community Server Download yaz. Bence bu da üstü bence. MySQL Community Server. Çünkü onlar Enterprise sadece onlara pul vermek lazım. Bundan takip işte. Aha. Okay, this is my database. Let's open query tool. Let's see if I have some tables. I should have, because I created. For some reason I don't. Refresh. I might need to commit this change. Cursor commit. Let's commit the change after running the query. Okay, then let's open, refresh it. Yeah, I have two tables here. Yeah, all I need to do was to commit this change, because without committing inside this Python, it will create tables, but it won't save the tables inside database. Okay, so as you see, I used Python to execute these SQL queries, and I have these tables. I have these tables inside my database. So let's create our database using Flask. Yes, create our APIs using Flask. So as usual, let's from Flask, we import Flask. Then we will have an app. Then app will run at host 000. Port will be 8080, let's say. Then we will have some routes. Let's say I will have a create route, and I will have first I want to register my user. Okay, so register user. Well, whenever a user sends a post request to my users stuff, like users URL, if user sends post request to my login URL, let's call it registration. If they send a request to registration, I will insert a new user. If they send to a login, I will try to log them into my system. Okay, this will be my routes of my application. So I have my table here, like I have the cursor here, I have connection here. What I need to do, I need to import this connection inside here. First of all, let's say, do you remember last time when we get JSON data from user? Let's open here. As last time what we did, for example, last time we get request JSON from request body. Whenever someone sends us the data, we get this data using request.json. let's say, let's close all of them. Don't save, don't save, don't save, don't save. If the user wants to register, they will send an HTTP post request to my localhost 8080 to registration URL. Registration URL. They will send some JSON data. Like, let's say if user wants to register, they will send me their full name. Like, let's say they will send me their username. Let's say they will send me passwords, and that's it. If they send this data, I will get this data from their JSON and I will try to insert it. Okay. So user data will be request.json. I will convert it to dictionary. I will have user data, like all this full name, username, and password inside this user data as dictionary. So now I need to import, like insert this data inside my database. I need this cursor inside this file. What's file name here? My file name is database.py, right? I will write from database, it means my database file, import what? This cursor, and I will use this cursor and also connection as well to execute some SQL queries. I just need to insert the data, okay? So I will write cursor execute insert into users. What our user have here? Full name, username, and password. So full name, username, and password. And then we'll have values. I will put some placeholders here. Let's actually see how to do it. PsychoPG. Let's see their documentation. Passing parameters to SQL queries. Like, let's see their examples. For example, if they insert some information, they put some placeholders. Like inside this placeholder, this 10 will be inserted here. This date time will be inserted here. And this Aurelie will be inserted here. Okay, so I'll put some this placeholders SSS, and let's put it like this. Full name will be user data full name, because user has sent me their full names. Username will be user data username, and then user data password. So I will execute this query, then I will commit the change. It means that our data will be saved inside our database. If you don't run commit, this data won't be saved inside database. And then we can send some data back. Let's see if we can get data back from here. Execute. What does it return? Let's see the results. Let's print the result. Print result. I will run my server Python 3 like a main.py. It will start my server at like IP address 8080. So if I send my data to localhost 8080/registration, the request will come to this function. This function will get user data from my JSON, and it will insert into users table using some values. Let's run this. Some error happened. Let's see actually what happened. Register user did not return a valid response. Okay, because I didn't return anything, this is not a problem. Actually, we have inserted this. Let's go to this PG admin and let's select everything from users table. So as you see, we have inserted full name, username, password, created that, and updated that is empty because we set default value for updated that, which is null. Okay. So whenever they create a user, I actually want to send the data back to my client. Like I want to send this data back to my client when they send request to me. Let's see how to do it. Postgres. Thank you. Pardon. Insert returning. Okay. Actually, when I insert, I can write here returning inside SQL, returning like ID, full name, username. Then it should return me something. Let's try again. I will delete this row from here. How to delete it? I can delete from users where ID equals to 1. When I run this, it will delete data. Okay, let's call it again. Again, some error happened. The result is still none because I didn't restart my server. Sorry, let's delete the data again. Send. The result is still none for some reason. Why? Because I think I need to, I don't need to use this cursor fetch 1. Let's delete sort user. Allah. Okay. Summary yazın. I will send again. I will have another error, but I have this data. Okay, at least I have the data. Okay, let's actually send this data back. Let me see what I have. ID, turn ID, created user will be cursor fetch 1. Create user ID, full name, and username. Okay, ID, full name, and username. Username. Okay. Delete all from users. I run this again. I send an HTTP request. His full name, username, and password. It creates a new user in the database. Like we get their data, we insert it, then we return what we have inserted. Okay. Inside our database, whenever I select everything from users, I have this Orhan Seinli, Orik, Orhan, and stuff. So our registration works. Let's first summarize the registration function. Okay, I sent post request to my localhost 8080 to registration URL. And what happens inside our function? This application runs on localhost 8080, and registration, when it receives this request from this URL, this function will work. This JSON data that we are sending will be assigned to this parameter. And then we will execute an SQL query, like insert into users, full name, username, and password. And we will insert this, whatever the user sent from here, insert this data using this insert in the query. Then we will just, whatever was inserted into the database, we will just return it back to the user. So it means that I have created your user. This is the user we have created. This is ID. This is full name. This is username. Is this clear? Just first registration function clear? So let's see how login will work. Okay. When a user logs in, they will send me their username and their password. Okay, let's create a new tab, duplicate tab. They will send to login. They will send their username. They will send their password. What I need to do here? So user data is again, we get JSON from request. Then I will need to execute this query. Execute this query. Select password from users where username equals to user data. I think I can do it like this. Username equals to user data username. Okay, whatever they sent me, I just see if I have a user inside my database. I'll just see if I have this user in my database named this username. Okay, it means where's my select password from users where username is on. Okay, I have this user. If I have entered some wrong username, this means that I don't have that user. Okay, so this is the same thing that I do here. So let's say existing user, fetch one. Like it means if I have this user in my database, if existing user is none, it means that I don't have this user inside my database. I will return some data saying that this user does not exist. Please register. Let's say I log in. What happened? Okay. Existing user. Okay. So this is my user. If I enter some wrong username, this will say me that this user does not exist because I select this user from my database. If this user does not exist, I return that this user does not exist. Please register. If this user exists, as we already talked about, we need to generate a new token, and we need to create a new session and insert into this user session table. I need to generate an access token. Okay. Access token is just random string, so I need to I will import some functions from Python. How was that? Secrets token URL save. Okay. In Python, there is a secrets module. If I want to generate some random token, I will use secrets token. Let's try this one, token which consists of maybe 34 characters. Okay. And I can send them back their access token. Let's see actually if this works. If I find user inside my database, I will generate a token with 64 characters and I will send them back this token. Okay. This user does not exist, but this user exists. So we generate a random looking long string and send them back. But I need to remember this token as well. As a server, I need to remember this token. So I will insert this access token inside this user sessions table. Okay. So let's say we have, I also need user ID from here, like ID, password, from existing user. Okay. So we generated an access token and then we will execute another query, insert into user sessions table. And we'll have access token, user ID, and expires that. Access token, user ID, and expires at. And values will be what? S, and access token is this. User ID is this. And expires that will be, let's say, create a variable which is called expiration time, which will be import time. Python get time and hours. Let's use this. Expiration time will be date time now plus, let's say, 1 hour. Okay, expiration time will be this. Then we will insert it, connection.commit, and this should be enough. For now, we haven't used password. Let's say we will use it. Okay. So whenever user logs into our system, this access token will be generated and will be sent back to user. But inside our database, like if I select everything from user sessions, I will have this sessions inside the sessions table. I have this access token. This is exact token that I have generated. And I have user ID. This means that this token belongs to user ID 5. And we have expiration time here, which is what? Today, but at 9 o'clock, but 5 hours from now. But I think we have date time problem here. Do we have? No, I have. Yeah, it's correct actually, because I added only 1 hour. Now it's 2012. It will be expired at like 21:12. Actually 11. So Okay, I also need to check their passwords. Let's say their username is correct, but password is not correct, and that's why I need to check it. So if a user data password is different than actual password, and then I will send a response saying that let's call it error. Let's call it like password is not correct. Okay. Yeah, so if I send wrong username, it will say me this user does not exist. If I send correct username but wrong password, it will say me that actually it didn't say me anything because I didn't restart my server. Whenever you change code, you need to restart your server. It will say me that password is not correct. If I correct my password, it will say me that here is your access token. Save it for yourself next time. Whenever you send me a request, just send this token along with your request. Let's have 5-minute break, then I will summarize this, then continue.